and this is the 10-8 podcast. I'm here with my man Los in the building. What's good, my brother?
Low nose boxing in the building, man.
Low nose box. My apologies, man. My fault.
Yeah. You the
What's
second person that keeps calling me Los.
you're Puerto Rican. I figured your name was Los, so maybe it was a racist thing. I don't know what it was. But anyways, I'm waiting for him to get back on. But the topic today is Gervonta a Hall of Famer? To be honest with you, I wasn't even thinking about doing my show based on that today. But I had my man Low Nose Boxing come on today, and I wanted to definitely discuss that. I'm waiting for him to come back on right now, and then we're gonna go in. But so recently there you go. My bad. Let me reintroduce my guy, Low Nose Boxing. For some strange reason, you look Puerto Rican, so I was thinking your name was Los, like my man. Like if your name was Carlos, but I don't know. It's Low Nose Boxing. What's good, my brother?
What's going on, man? The nickname is Low. That's the nickname I adapted years ago, because I used to wear a lot of polo. So they started calling me D-Lo. My name is David.
You with the
But,
low
like I
lives?
said, I wasn't with the low lives, but I was rocking a lot of polo. And they were low lives in school, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I knew a few of them, but it wasn't, had no affiliation with them or anything like that.
Nah, I feel you on that. Like, I mean, Polo's still legendary and stuff like that. But I actually, it's funny. Right before we got on live, I had just interviewed my man John Iceman Scully. Shout out to John Iceman Scully. And there was a lot of controversy in the first interview I did with him, where we were speaking on the Hall of Fame and is Gervonta Davis a Hall of Famer? And in that interview, my man John Iceman Scully had stated that he did not believe at this moment that that Gervonta was a Hall of Famer or whatnot. So, Gervonta had responded. He went a little crazy, called me a bitch. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what the hell that was about, but that's what. Hold on, let me come on. What's up, brother? Uh, all right. I guess I'll post it on YouTube. All right, all right. My phone, guy. He got kicked off. But so anyways, let me create a copy link. I'm gonna put it in here. Boom. And Gervonta responded. He wasn't too happy about it, which is cool. I get it. Shouts to Gervonta Davis. I don't have no personal issues with the guy. But it ended up reaching a lot of different various podcast website. Michael Benson posted it. A lot of people talking about it. In fact, um, pretty much even the Zone posted it. Um, let's talk about it. But a lot of people, and of course, I didn't get credit for a lot of people didn't go, but there was a little back and forth. I had my little fun with Gervonta, but I just want to get off my chest. I do got a lot of respect for Gervonta. I just want to see him be great. But my man Lono's Boxing is about to come on. I just posted a link from him. He was having trouble getting on. And he had a different perspective on it, which I thought was very interesting because I don't believe, and it's how you define the Hall of Fame, right? So me personally, the Hall of Fame, when I look at the Hall of Fame, I look at accomplishments, okay? I look at accomplishments, whether it's the NFL, whether it's the NBA, whether it's Major League Baseball. I look at accomplishments. So that's how I look at things in regards to a Hall of Fame in sports. Now, my man Lowe said something really interesting. He said it's the Hall of Fame. So it's about fame. So that's why I think he's a Hall of Fame name famer now. Now, by the definition of fame, fame is people knowing you all over the world globally, and there is not many bigger fighters than Gervonta Davis in the world. I mean, there's probably just one named Canelo Alvarez, right? Um, and I was waiting for him to get his perspective on, but for some strange reason, he's not on right now. I'm having trouble getting him on, but I thought that was an interesting perspective on the topic because at the end of the day, I mean, there is not too many people bigger than Gervonta, and that's the facts. But to me, I believe the Hall of Fame is simply about To be honest with you, it's about accomplishments. That's what that people when you go to Hall of Fame, you see people. You see gloves up there, you see different things. But Lo, I was actually just explaining my perspective on the Hall of Fame. Right, me, it's about the reason I said what I stated and what John stated was more so about accomplishments. But you have a different perspective on the Hall of Fame. Why do you feel like Gervonta is a Hall of Famer?
For one, it's not just about accomplishments; it's also about popularity. When you got fighters like Arturo Gotti, all due respect, Arturo Gotti's a Hall of Famer, right? He didn't have a better career than what Gervonta Davis is having right now, right? Gervonta Davis is a three-division champion. Some people would say two-division champion, but on paper he's a three-division champion. He has some solid wins on his resume. He's exciting. Um, he does pay-per-view numbers, and he's knocking guys out. So if Gervonta Davis were to retire right now, he
Mhm.
would go into the Hall of Fame. He wouldn't be a legend because for me, there's different categories. You get into the Hall of Fame, that's like making it through the skin of your teeth. And then you're a great fighter, you're an all-time great, and you a legend. Gervonta Davis will go in as a Hall of Famer.
So let me ask you a question. So let's play devil's advocate. I don't believe he's a Hall of Famer. Okay, I do believe, in a sense, you're right. He's very popular and things of that nature. Right, he does sell pay-per-views, um, or whatnot. But how do you differentiate putting him in there with guys like Manny Pacquiao, who's an eight division world champion, guys like Sugar Ray Leonard, guys like Roberto Duran, who have the accomplishments, not only the fame but the actual accolades. They've unified. Um, but he has not, and a lot of people do say that Gervonta does avoid the bigger fighters. He had four guys in his division that would be considered the biggest fighters in his in from 140 to 135, which were Haney, Teofimo, and Shakur, and Ryan Garcia. He fought one of them. If he doesn't fight any of these guys, you still would believe that keeps him in the Hall of Fame?
Once again, you mentioned legends, right? In Hall of Fame, there's different categories. Gervonta Davis would not go down and be considered a legend like Sugar Ray Leonard, like Roberto Duran, like those guys you mentioned. But he will be a Hall of Famer. You have fighters that had less stellar careers than what Gervonta Davis is having right now, and they made it into the Hall of Fame. So I'm going based off of that.
Uh,
Once again, Arturo Gotti, like I said, is a Hall of Famer. Arturo Gotti lost all of his big fights,
okay.
with the exception of his title win over Tracy Harris Patterson, his win over Mickey Ward, who was never a champion, and a couple of other guys. When he fought Floyd Mayweather, he lost. When he fought Oscar De La Hoya, he lost. When he fought Ivan Robinson twice, he lost. When he fought his rival at the time, when he was in his prime, Angel Manfredi, he lost. So
Mhm.
you telling me that Arturo Gotti did more than Gervonta Davis? Because that's what I'm going based off of. I'm not comparing Gervonta with Ray Leonard. I'm
I mean,
saying to be a Hall of Famer, Gervonta Davis had a better career than Arturo Gotti and a better career than some other guys that made it into the Hall of Fame. That's all I'm saying.
that's actually a really good point. I mean, listen, Arturo Gatti wasn't one of the greatest fighters, but he also did have one of the greatest trilogies in the history of boxing with Mickey Ward. Yes, he lost to Angel Manfredi, which was one of his biggest fights. He got destroyed by De La Hoya. He got destroyed by Floyd Mayweather. But at the same time, these were big fights. What is the fight that Gervonta hangs his hat on that you're sitting there and saying, hey, maybe Arturo didn't win these fights, but he fought these guys. You know what I'm saying? What does Gervonta hang his hat on at that point?
Let me ask you a question. If
Yeah.
Adrien Broner retires right now, does he go into the Hall of Fame?
Was he undisputed? I know
No?
he was a two-time division champion, right? 130,
Four division.
four division. I think so. I think so.
Okay.
I think, and just being honest, I think his personality and his relationships are going to hold him out of the Hall of Fame because of how disrespectful he is. And when he got to the bigger stage, which was I think at 147 at the time, he just didn't look good. When he was supposed to become that guy, he didn't become that guy. And I still think accomplishment wise he is, but that may hold him back. So I feel where you're coming from with that. Do you think he's a Hall of Famer?
Okay. I think they'll put him into the Hall of Fame. Let me ask you another question. Does that Zab Judah's a Hall of Famer, right?
The last unified 147-pound fighter, right, was that right?
Zab Judah. In fact, he did go to the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Congratulations to Zab Judah.
Mm-hmm.
Happy belated birthday, Zab Judah. One of my favorite fighters growing up, right? No disrespect to Zab Judah at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Zab Judah came up in an era where he had a lot of great fighters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Zab Judah became an undisputed champion, right? At 147. He was a champion at 140, right? Zab Judah lost a lot of his big fights also. He
Mm-hmm.
had a much better career than Artur Gotti, but he lost a lot of his big fights as well.
Yeah.
Tank Davis has not fought his main contemporaries yet, like you said, the Devin, the Teo, the Shakur, right? But Gervonta Davis, as far as his run, he doesn't have the accolades of a Zab Judah in terms of undisputed,
Mm-hmm.
but he's having a run. He's
But
winning these fights back to back to back, and he's beating some decent guys. He's not beating no killers or anything like that. But in terms of the depth of his resume, he has a nice amount of former world champions on his resume. I think Gervonta Davis goes into the Hall of Fame, bro.
so this is my thing. You bring up Zab, and again, he fought guys like Cotto. He fought guys like Floyd. I mean, Zab didn't run from anybody. A lot of people believe that Gervonta is avoiding smoke from these guys. And hey, listen, when you fight great competition, you're gonna lose. It just is what it is. But a lot of people feel like that's what's transpiring with Gervonta. Is he ever going to take that big fight? Is he going to fight a Lomachenko? Is he going to fight these guys? I think that could keep him out. But I mean, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I hope he does. As a boxing fan, I hope he does. Whether he's gonna fight those guys or not, I don't know. He tried to get the Lomachenko fight, and mind you, I'm not one of those radical the tank fans like that, you know. So it's not like me being biased in any way. There's no motive behind it. But
Mhm.
based on what I've seen, based on the fighters that I've seen get into the Hall of Fame, I can see Gervonta Davis getting into the Hall of Fame. For one, he has some accolades, right? I don't consider him a three-division champion. I acknowledge him as a two-division champion because when he won that belt at 140 for Mario Barrios, Josh Taylor was really the champion at the time,
Yeah.
not Mario Barrios. But the fact that he's selling out pay-per-views, selling out arenas, he's knocking dudes out, he's beating world champions, he got the fame aspect, he has the aura as far as the excitement knocking dudes out, but he hasn't reached that level where we're comparing him with the all-time great. He just
But,
makes it into the Hall of Fame if he retires. He just makes it in. That's it. Just a Hall of Fame, not a legend, not an all-time great. Just a
but
Hall of
based
Famer.
off of popularity. I mean, but isn't it disrespectful though for the greats that put it all on the line, that took the risk, that won the belts, that became unified? Isn't that disrespectful to them?
Yeah, like I said, the Hall of Fame is not what it used to be. Back in the days, the Hall of Fame was based on your actual legacy. You had fighters back in the days that people don't know about now, right? Because they weren't popular, but they made it into the Hall of Fame because of what they did. Example, um, what's the guy's name? Antonio Cervantes, right? The greatest Colombian fighter of all time, one of the best junior welterweights ever. He's the guy that Wilfredo Benitez, another legend, beat for his first world title. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
People don't know who he is. Because when you think about that era, you think about guys like Ray Leonard, Hearns, Benitez, all those guys. But Antonio Cervantes was a great fighter, was a Hall of Famer, based on what he did in the ring, not based on his popularity. So right now it was a mixture of accolades and popularity. And based on Tank's accolades on paper, a three-division world champion. I keep touching my screen because the link that I have is not the actual YouTube link from the YouTube app, so my screen keeps like fading out. So
Yeah.
I'm tapping it so it won't get dark, so it
Okay,
won't
that's
cut
good.
off. But like I said, Gervonta Davis is making it for me based off the fact that on paper he's a three-division champion. He's undefeated. He's knocking out former world champions, and he's popular. I'm not comparing him with Ray Leonard. to be on that level with those guys, he's gonna have to fight his contemporaries. He's gonna have to take chances and jump up and fight Bud Crawford and stuff like that, because that's what Roberto Duran did.
And
But
that's
once
another
again,
thing.
there's levels.
That's another thing. I was watching. I think it was my man. Showtime. Whatever, the adult, right? Whatever.
Showbiz.
Showbiz, the adult. Shout out to him. And he was talking about fighters going up in weight classes, challenging themselves. Like for instance, I got Manny Pacquiao to me as the greatest fighter of all time, simply because he's done something that nobody else has done and probably will never do ever in the history of boxing. Being eight different weight classes champion, right? But he's not even doing that. He's not going up in weight. If he doesn't go up in weight, do you lose respect for him? How do you feel? I mean, but look at Canelo. Canelo's 2 inches taller than him. Went up to 168 from 147. People feel like he's not challenging himself. Do you think that takes away from it?
Once again, there's levels, right? Canelo Alvarez, if he retires today, Canelo Alvarez is going down as a legend, an all-time great. Not a great, an all-time great.
Mm-hmm.
If Canelo fights Beterbiev and beats Beterbiev, now we're talking about legend status. Because, like I said, the levels that I have is Hall of Fame, great fighter, all-time great, and legend. Canelo right now is all-time great. He fights Beterbiev and beats him, that will be the equivalent of Roberto Duran at 37 years old going to 160 and beating Iran Barkley.
Mm. I mean, Jesus, Beterbiev. It's funny you mentioned that. I was just talking to his trainer, his co-trainer. What's his name? John Iceman Scully.
John Scully, yeah.
And that came up about Canelo possibly fighting Beterbiev, and he was saying that Beterbiev is not motivated by money, but he said after the Bivol fight, he would not be surprised if that were to happen, but doesn't believe it would be a good fight because Canelo's a small guy. He's not necessarily that big of a guy, and it'll be a tall task. I mean, do you think Canelo would even stand a chance in that type of a fight? Well, I mean, with Beterbiev?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. As far as size goes, he did it with Kovalev. Kovalev is just as big as a puncher as Beterbiev, or somewhere close to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Comparable.
Yeah.
But in order for Canelo to pull it off, he's gonna have to show all his tricks. He's gonna have to show everything in his repertoire, his defense, his head movement, his counter punching, going to the body. He just can't walk forward behind a high guard, because if he does that, he's gonna get knocked out. But skill-wise, Canelo does have the skills to get the job done. It's gonna be a tough fight, absolutely. But I think Canelo can pull it off. You know, these are the fights that determine if you're going to be a legend or not. You got to take chances. Sugar Ray moved up for Marvin Hagler. Duran fought Iran Barkley. Manny Pacquiao did what he did. You know,
Yeah.
these are the fights you got to take. Right now, for me, this fight would actually increase his legacy more than a win over David Benavidez, who didn't accomplish anywhere near what Artur Beterbiev did.
Wow. I mean, it's crazy. I forgot the lady's name. I was watching her on The Voice, and the Voice podcast, Boxing Voice podcast with the guy Ness. I forgot this girl's name. She's on the zone.
Boxiana?
Yes. She got short hair, glasses. So
I didn't see her, but I heard her because I was working out listening to the
so she was saying that she believes that as well. I'm not gonna lie, like that's a tall task. When you got somebody that fought in the amateurs and heavyweight, very strong. Bivol said when he fought him, everything that he hits you with is hard. And Bivol could not push him back for anything in that fight. You believe Canelo's not a big guy at all. You think he can really pull that off?
Canelo's a bigger puncher than Bivol. If Canelo goes to the body, I'm not saying he wins, but he could. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he pulled it off. He'll go in as an underdog for sure. But I think Canelo, he's capable of pulling that off. Beterbiev is older. He's like 40 years old, I believe.
39,
something like that.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have the best defense. And he's not as skilled as a Kovalev, who uses a jab. He's underrated, but he does get hit, and we've seen him hit the floor before. And Canelo, even though he hasn't had a knockout in quite some time, everybody he fights hits the deck damn near. I can see Canelo dropping him.
Do you think Canelo's interested in that fight?
Based on what I'm hearing about as far as potential opponents, no, I don't think so. They're talking about Canelo possibly facing off against a Chris Eubank Jr. So that right there tells me he's not thinking about anything like that. He's sort of like on his farewell tour. That's how I see it. He's knocking off fights that are on his bucket list. He wants to fight in the UK. There's rumors that he wants to fight in Japan.
Mhm.
That's what I think Canelo's doing right now, making money and knocking off everything on his bucket list.
Yeah, no, I've seen the Chris Eubank. I heard he sent over a contract. He wants to sell out Wembley. He wants to go to Japan and fight alongside anyway. I'm with you on that. I mean, but I would not be surprised if Canelo were to fight Beterbiev. I mean, I think Canelo's always pushed himself in regards to fight those guys. And I think Bivol rematch doesn't make any sense anymore, simply because of the way Beterbiev were defeated, or the fact that he beat Bivol. I think Beterbiev was a bigger fight. So I'm definitely with you on that. Now let's move forward. I know you're more of a boxing purist, right? And a lot of people have been critiquing Devin Haney for suing Ryan Garcia in regards to what transpired 420 of last year. What's your take on the Ryan Garcia, actually Devin Haney suing Ryan Garcia situation?
Well, first off, Ryan Garcia was definitely in the wrong. I see a lot of people defend Ryan Garcia and say that it was only a certain amount of aspirin he had in his body,
Yeah.
regardless to what it was. It shouldn't have been in his body. Period. Point blank. Period.
Mhm.
Now, as far as Devin Haney suing him, I mean, this is I can't say it's the first time because if I'm not correct, John Ruiz, I believe he sued James Toney as well.
Mhm.
So it's not the
And I
first
think
time.
what's his name? The other heavyweight, Wilder. I think Wilder got into a lawsuit as well, if I'm not
I didn't
mistaken.
know about that.
Yeah, I mean, I heard.
Now,
I don't know if it's true or not.
what I will say this is if Devin Haney, the lawsuit, at least try to make a fight. Try to make a rematch. Sue him and try to make a rematch. I'm not with the lawsuit stuff, but this is boxing. If he's gonna sue him, try to make the rematch. Really try to make the rematch. From what I heard, they wanted to do VADA testing,
Yeah.
365, something like that. Now VADA, once again, I'm not really into the bochinche aspect of boxing. I'm more into the technical boxing, historian type stuff, fights I want to see. So, I hear that VADA is tied to Victor Conti, and I hear a lot of things about him. So why don't they just do USADA? Maybe they should do the USADA route
Mhm.
and then try to make the fight. And if they're gonna sue him, however that's playing out, make the fight at least. Get it back, get that revenge back. Miguel Cotto got it back.
Yeah. See, I think, and this is just me being honest. I think that the lawsuit is a ploy to guarantee the fight. I think they are trying to make the fight happen, but they're trying to make it their next big fight, or make sure they can lock it in when Ryan comes back, because financially it would make the most sense because it would be Ryan's first fight back. Even if Devin were to take a prior fight and then fight him, you don't lose that because Ryan does want to take risks. He wants to fight these bigger guys. So if they're able to lock in a lawsuit, I think if they do sign the fight, the lawsuit goes away. But I think that's something that they're trying to hold over Ryan's head in order to guarantee that he's the first opponent when he does decide to come back. So I'm with you on that. Um, I'm with you. I would love to see a rematch of it, but I also do respect the business side of it and why he is pulling the lawsuit, because Bill Haney came out and was like that financially he's been hurt, that his financial value has been hurt, and that's what they're actually suing for, because they're not getting the offers that they were once getting prior to this fight. So it is a weird situation, and people don't usually do that. And they're killing Devin Haney for that, but I understand the move business wise. It's kind of to corner him. Um, what I mean? Troy, he hates the Haneys. He can't stand the Haneys. So we were going back and forth about it. And there's a lot of conspiracy stuff going around with the VADA thing, and I mean, I'm with you too. I don't understand why they just come to an agreement and use whoever. I don't see the problem using VADA again. So
I wouldn't say Troy hates the Haney's. You know what it is? Troy he's a blunt, he's straight shooter,
yeah,
speaks his mind, and he's breaking it down from a technical standpoint. He's
yeah,
breaking down the technical mistakes that the Haney's made. And a lot of people are not good at taking constructive criticism,
hmm
and neither are their fans. So I wouldn't say Troy hates him. Troy just keeping it 100. People
yeah.
don't want to hear the truth. People are emotional. That's the generation that we're in. People can't take any type of constructive criticism.
No, I mean, I definitely feel you, but I definitely want to see it happen. Hopefully, it's Ryan's first fight back. In regards to the suit, I think it will get dropped. Um, moving forward, Teofimo Lopez. I'm a huge Teofimo Lopez fan. I know you rock with Teo heavy.
Yes.
Teo's he's having a lot of problems in regards to things that he's saying in the media, but not only that is getting the fights that he wants. Um, what do you think is the cause of Teofimo not getting uh, the fights that he wants? Not he can't get the Gervonta fight. He wants the Bud fight. What do you think are the causes of that?
Well, as far as right now, from what I'm hearing, whether it's true or not, I'm hearing that he might be going through litigations with Top Rank.
Yeah,
Now, as
I
far
seen
as Tio landing the big fights,
hmm
I feel like the lack of consistency in his performances
Yeah,
is sort of hindering his growth because he'll have a spectacular performance against Richard Comey, a spectacular performance against Lomachenko. He beat Lomachenko 9 rounds to 3, with the exception of those 3 rounds where Loma came on pretty hard in the last
hmm
3 of the last 5 rounds. I had Teal wiping him out on the scorecards 9 rounds to 3. It wasn't even close.
hmm
It was a tough fight because the rounds Loma won, he was really putting it on Teal, but he only won 3 rounds. After that, Josh Taylor, not Josh Taylor, Camboso lost, whatever. He been inconsistent.
hmm
So because of that, the network, Top Rank, the promotional company hasn't really been able to take full advantage of the momentum. And then when he had that win over Josh Taylor, he had that little retirement thing. Failed to take advantage. Another reason why he's not able to get these big fights is because even though a lot of fighters are looking at him and some fighters are calling him out, a lot of these fighters, his contemporaries, they know T.O. is the truth, but they also know that T.O. is a little bit inconsistent. But based on his track record, when T.O. fights the top guys that people perceive as a threat, he dominates.
yeah,
Look what he did with Josh Taylor. Look what he did with Lomachenko. Look what he did with Richard Comey. So if you're a top name like a Gervonta Davis, for instance, or even a Devin Haney, because Devin Haney has headline pay-per-view more than once, you're going in there with a guy, you don't know what you're gonna get. You might think you're gonna get the lackluster T.O., but then you go in there with T.O. and T.O.'s motivated. Now you're risking a potential loss, a very high chance of losing and losing in dominant fashion to a fighter that's never headline pay per view, a
hmm
fighter that in his biggest fight was in a big small room in Madison Square Garden. So I feel like these fighters are cautious. They're looking at Tio as a high risk, low reward. That's how they're perceiving it. That's what I think. Because like I said, on Tio at his best could beat anybody in my opinion. And the fighters out there know that.
No, I'm definitely with you, and I feel like he is a high risk. He's very talented. He's also super athletic. But it was kind of crazy too to hear some of the stuff he said over the last couple of years. For instance, he was on I think Mace's show, and he said he's only getting the highest he ever got paid is 800,000. He feels like black fighters get treated better than I'm assuming the Latino fighters or himself. He recently called Bud Crawford a monkey on the thing. What do you feel about those comments? Do you think that's adding to people not rocking with him or even pushing him because he's a risk as a brand?
I mean, once again, he's my favorite fighter, but am I a fan of a lot of some of the things that he says? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't approve of that. Do I think he's racist? I don't know Teofimo personally. I met his dad a few times. I do know people that talk to him on a regular, people in the boxing gyms. And from what they tell me, Teofimo Lopez is not racist. He's not that type of guy. He you know, he really he rocks with black people. You know what I'm saying? He's not racist.
Mm.
Why he would say that? I think he's trying to sell the fight. He's trying to do whatever he could to get the fight, sort of like Clubber Lang disrespecting Rocky Balboa's wife and things of that nature. Did I cut off? Am I still on the
No, no,
screen?
you
Because
good.
my
You good.
screen just went
Yeah,
blank.
you good. You good. I love
Uh,
Teofimo Lopez, and I love the fact that he's been working with Canelo recently as well. And I think that's major because he has shown some technical skills that he's been lacking. Like I forgot who. I think it's fighting Jermaine Ortiz. I think it was that
cutting
one.
the ring off.
Cutting the ring off. Like, and these are things that a fighter of his magnitude should be doing. Like his talent level is absolutely through the roof, and
With
I'm
Norbs,
yeah.
a lot of fighters nowadays don't have all the tools. Like me and Troy talk about it all the time. A lot of the old school fighters, like Sugar Ray Leonard, you look at him, the first thing you say, he's slick, moves around, knows how to box. But when it was time to cut the ring off against Tommy Hearns, he cut the ring off. A lot of fighters today don't know how to cut the ring off. It's not just Teofimo Lopez. We saw Shakur Stevenson look lost in there trying to cut the ring off, and he even said it himself that he needs to work on that. Jerron Boots Ennis, who's going to fight Karen, right?
Yeah.
In a rematch. The first fight with Karen, he looked at lost in there as far as knowing how to properly cut the ring off. A
Yep.
lot of fighters nowadays either know how to be slick and be a counterpuncher or they know how to move forward. There's not that many fighters today that know how to do both. You feel what I'm saying? Gervonta Davis is one of the fighters that I've seen that has shown that he can fight on the back foot and counterpunch. And against Frank Martin, he showed that he could cut the ring off against somebody with legs. So with Teofimo working with Canelo Alvarez, that's a great move because Canelo Alvarez is probably the best fighter today in terms of coming forward and cutting the ring off. So if Teo focuses on that, adds that to his weapons, he's going to be a bad. In the words of Bill Haney, he's going to be a bad motor scooter because Teo is already physically talented and he learns fast. Obviously, he got natural talent. So if he learns how to cut the ring off, that's going to make him even more dangerous, especially if he uses his jab as well.
T that in front of Teofimo, what big fight is more likely to actually happen at this point? What fight do you think he actually gets? Is it
Teo,
is it a Haney fight? Is it Gervonta? Is it Bud Crawford? Is it a Boots on his fight? What is more likely to happen? Does he leave 140, go up to 147? What do you think it is? Because Cottrell just called him out as well. What do
who?
you think?
Catterall.
Catterall. I'm sorry, Catterall. What do you think is more likely to happen?
That's a good question. Good question. Like if you asking me what fight I would like next for him, it would be Jack Catterall based on Jack Catterall earning it. A lot of people are against. A lot of people are talking bad about Jack Catterall. For me, Jack Catterall probably has the best resume at 140 right now. He's definitely earning and deserving. So I would like that fight next for Tio, but it would have to be in the Madison Square Garden big room, not in the UK, because if it goes 12 rounds, they could rob him over there. As far as which big fight is the most possible, most
Mhm.
likely to happen, that's a good question, bro. You got Shakur, he's on top rank, but he's at 135. Tio stated that he won't fight him. Gervonta Davis, I don't think that fight's ever gonna happen, to be honest with you.
Damn.
Bud Crawford, it could or it couldn't. If Bud Crawford cannot get the Canelo fight or any other fight that he's looking for, and if Tio continues to do what he's doing, I think I'd have just like I'm just gonna shut this guy up. Bud Crawford would fight him probably, but I would have to say Devin Haney. No, no, Ryan Garcia.
Oh,
Ryan
Ryan
Garcia is
Garcia.
the most likely fight. There you go. Ryan Garcia will be the fight most likely to happen because Tio and Oscar De La Hoya, they're pretty cool. And Tio already said that Ryan Garcia would have to undergo USADA drug testing. Now, if Ryan Garcia is willing to undergo USADA, then I think that fight can happen. And that would be a dangerous fight for both of them. It's not one-sided like people think it would be.
I mean, yeah, I mean, Ryan. Listen, Ryan is super talented. Got a mean left hook. They both have their deficiencies and inconsistencies in certain areas. But I listen again. I love Teofimo's talent, man. His athleticism. I really do believe he's probably the most unappreciated fighter out there. I feel like not having a pay-per-view, not getting paid as much as these other guys, and probably having more, have accomplished more. He's accomplished more than most of them. It's kind of crazy to me, to be honest with you. The question I asked, I don't think he gets a bud fight, to be honest with you. Simply
I don't even. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even like that fight. I'm gonna be real with you because
what
if
up?
he fights Bud Crawford, right? T.O. said he'll move up to 154 to fight Bud.
Damn.
Let's say Bud says, "All right, move to 154." A lot of people think T.O. is clout chasing. I believe in you. Show me who you are. I believe you. When T.O.'s called out Josh Taylor, he fought him. When he called out Loma, he fought him. So I believe that he's honest about this Bud Crawford fight. So my thing is, if he does go to 154 to fight Bud Crawford, win or lose, what's next? You're gonna stay at 154 and fight those giants? It don't make no sense, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're doing what Bud's doing. Bud is looking to move up, fight Canelo, win or lose, probably retire after that. So that fight doesn't make no sense. Bud Crawford is no longer at 147. T.O. for me is in the best division in boxing. The best division in boxing.
You think it's better 154?
Name wise, absolutely. Talent wise, skill wise, absolutely.
Really?
154 is competitive because most of the guys are on the same level. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay.
There's no one there that really stands out like head and shoulders above the rest of them. That's why any given night, anybody can win. At 140, you have a different diversity of styles. You got Teofimo Lopez, athleticism, mixture, combination of speed and power. You got Devin Haney when Devin is Devin, slick, tall boxer, move around, good skills. You got what's his name? Liam Powell, good fundamentals, southpaw with power. You got Jack Catterall. You got a dark horse up there by the name of Richardson Hitchens, tall, slick fighter, someone who I'm actually picking for the upset over Liam Powell. You know, you still got Sabril Matias up there. You got Gervonta Davis still one division south of the division. You got Shakur Stevenson a weight class south of it. You know, you still got Sandor Martin who can move around and box. You got Jose Ramirez, a veteran, former world champion.
Mhm.
I think 140 is a better division. You got better names up there and different styles. So if T.O. can dominate this era of 140 right now that we're in, this is the best 140 ever I've seen in a while. The
Wow.
last era before this one was the Josh Taylor, Jose Ramirez, Regis Prograis era. Before that, we had the Bud Crawford, Julius and Dangle era. Before that, we had a good one. We had Danny Garcia, we had Khan, Zab Judah, Lucas Matisse. We had that era. For me, this era, and I forgot to mention Gary Antoine Russell. This is the best era at 140 that I can recall. If T.O. can have a real run, at least 2 years, and at least fight 3 times a year and beat 6 of these guys, he could go down in history as probably the greatest junior welterweight of all time,
Wow.
or in discussion as being one of them. And we talking about guys like Julio Cesar Chavez. We talking about Aaron Pryor. You know, we talking about guys that had real runs. T.O., what he hasn't had yet is a serious run where you're a champion in the division and you're cleaning the division out. We haven't had that in a while from a lot of fighters, with the exception of, let's say, Canelo Alvarez.
Nah, that's. I mean, I would love to see it because I'm a big fan of Teofimo. He's one of my favorite fighters. I have him on my top 10 pound for pound list all the time.
Me too.
A lot of people tend to leave him off for whatever reason. I don't know why. Maybe you got a better answer for that. Um, but no, I mean, the way you breaking it down, brother, makes a whole lot of sense. I forgot all those guys were in that division. To be honest with you,
That's a deep division, man.
yeah.
And all he needs, let's say for me, right? Let's say in 5 fights, fights Jack Catterall,
Hmm.
Liam Powell, Devin Haney, Ryan
Yeah, Ryan
Garcia.
Yeah.
Ryan Garcia will be like a 147 type of fight. And let's say he takes on I don't know, somebody, man, Richards or Hitchens.
Mm-hmm.
If he beat five of those guys up there, come on, man. Think about the last run with Buck Crawford, all due respect, another great fighter, undisputed, right? Gonna go down as the Hall of Famer for sure, and a great,
Mm-hmm.
possibly an all-time great. If he beats some more good guys. Buck Crawford's its era of 140 was kind of lackluster.
Mm.
Josh Taylor had a better run at 140 than Buck Crawford did. Josh Taylor beat Regis Prograis, he beat Victor Postal, he beat Baranchek, and he beat Jose Ramirez. Danny Garcia beats Judah, who we spoke about earlier. He beat Khan, he beat Lucas Matisse, he beat Mauricio Herrera, he beat Kendall Holt. And then he beat other guys that were there. He caught up to them at 140 because Brandon Rios was a part of that crop. He caught him at 147.
Mm-hmm.
Jose Benavidez was a part of that crop. He caught him at 154. He caught Lamar Peterson at 143. So let's say Tio doesn't fight all of them at 140, but then he catches the rest of them like at 147, like a Ryan Garcia, or maybe Devin Haney, because Devin Haney is a guy that's gonna outgrow that division. We talking about one of the greatest junior welterweights of all time, if he can do that.
I mean, shit, the way you break it down, I'd love to see it, man. I would love to see him unify as well. Unifying that division, if he's able to do that, you would put him as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, in that weight class.
If he does in order, let's say he fights I really want to see the Raul Valenzuela fight, because Raul is a fighter that has attachments with Tio. There's alleged sparring. People say that he stopped Tio twice in sparring,
Really?
according to that team. Yeah, that's what they say. And he's a world champion now, coming off of a solid win. I would like that fight. Let's say Tio fights Valenzuela, who we ain't even mentioned him before.
That'd be great.
Valenzuela, Jack Catterall, Devin Haney, and Liam Powell. Those four fights right there.
I ain't gonna lie, think about it right now. That'd be crazy. That would definitely be like him just beating Josh Taylor to me was crazy. The way he did it, like I was like, yo, Tio's a different type of animal. When he's like locked in, I don't know who could beat him at 140. To be honest with you, like I think he's that good. To be honest,
See, that's the difference between him and Gervonta Davis. Like when we talk about Hall of Fame credentials,
yeah,
Gervonta makes it based off of his accolades that he has and the fact that he's been consistent and is popular, right? But there hasn't been a fight where let's say I was a hardcore Gervonta Davis fan. I don't recall a fight where going into that fight I'm nervous for him. You feel what I'm saying?
yeah,
As
facts.
boxing fans, we've all been nervous for our favorite fighters, right?
Hmm.
Going into the Josh Taylor fight, not that I didn't believe Tio had the skills, but based on how he was acting going into that fight, based on how he was inconsistent, and based on what I seen Josh Taylor do prior to all that, I was worried for him. Like, man, he might lose this fight.
Yeah, yeah,
When your favorite fighter's in a fight where you're actually like, man, what if he loses and he wins? That's greatness. That's like when Miguel Cotto went in there to fight Shane Mosley. That's how I felt.
hmm,
When Miguel Cotto went in there to fight Sergio Martinez, who was bigger than him. You know what I mean? That's
hmm.
like when Sugar Ray Leonard fought Marvin Hagler. And I'm not comparing Josh Taylor with Marvin Hagler. I'm just trying to say,
Yeah, I
whenever
understand.
your favorite fighter's in there and you got butterflies for him, like, yo, and he wins,
Hmm.
that's saying something right there. We
No,
haven't seen that with a lot of fighters today.
no, you're absolutely right, man. And I hope Tio does do it because I really believe he's one of them. I really do believe he's a special talent. I love the kid, to be honest with you. And when I seen he was working out with Canelo and
I was
learning, from
hyped.
him, I thought it was genuine too. I feel like a lot of people do stuff like that just to. And Canelo doesn't like to have too many people around him, right? He tried. If he does bring you into camp, it's to work. Like that's why he had problems with Ryan Garcia. He didn't feel like he was dedicated enough. So he doesn't like to bring people around. So when I seen that, I was definitely super hyped to see him learning off Canelo and absorbing that. And I just hope I want to see how it translates to his next fight.
Me and Troy talk all the time about the young fighters, and Troy very once again, like I said, he critiques them. Hold on one second.
Yeah, you good.
Oh man, work. Open the door. Open the door. Yeah, I'm multitasking.
You
Troy always says that if Tio really learns from Reynoso, hold on 1 second.
good. Yeah, yeah.
What's going on, man? Just fill those forms out over there, then bring them right back. Bring them over there. He says that if he learns how to use his jab, that if he learn how to use his jab in different ways, like Troy says, stick it, flick it, feint it, hook off it. He said Tio beats all of them, including Gervonta, if he
Mm.
uses his jab correctly.
I believe it. I mean, listen, I think athletic wise, I mean, there's not too many people as athletic as Gervonta Davis, right? But I think Tio actually is. I don't think he has the power. I don't know if his power translated to 140, but everything else, athletic wise, that he does is just better than everybody. So, I mean, I hope he does learn from Reynoso, locks down the technical aspect of the shit because I think Tio really is special. Like, I really believe he should be talked in the top 5, top 10 pound for pound fighters. I really do
Right
believe
now,
he is that
I
type.
wouldn't put him in the top 5 right now because, like I said, you got guys that did more than him
Yeah.
in terms of accolades. But on my list, I'm gonna give you my list right now.
Okay.
Number 1, I got Usyk.
That's what I got. Yeah.
Number 2, I got Bud Crawford.
Okay.
Number 3, I got Inui. I
Anyway.
got Canelo at 4. I got Beterbiev at 5. At 6, I hate to say it, but I gotta put Gervonta over Tio in terms of the fact that he's been more consistent at 6. I got Tio at 7. I got Bivol at 8. I got Shakur at 9. No, I got Bam Rodriguez at 9, and I got Shakur at 10. That's my list.
Damn. I'll be honest with you. I don't got Gervonta in my top 10. I got Bam a little bit higher. I got Inoue there. I got Benavidez up there. I'm gonna be honest. I got Benavidez up there. I think he's one of them guys, to be honest with you. I mean, beating Plant.
What's your criteria for period for pound, greatness, whatever you want to call it?
So how I kind of do it is competition, as well as how dangerous they are. Like, I think Gervonta is super dangerous, right? But I just feel like he's avoiding too many fighters. So that's why I don't think he has that big win. Like, I think Benavidez' win versus Caleb Plant is bigger than anything he's done. Yeah.
I need your PTW numbers. You gotta put your PTW numbers there. Yeah, I'm on a quick call right now. You just gotta call your point of contact. Whoever sent you over here, get that PTW number, put it down, and then just bring it right back.
My bad, John. Yeah, you hear me? My fault. I
hear
think
you.
Benavidez beating Caleb Plant and even Boo Boo, even though Boo Boo came up, I think those are really big wins. I'm a big Caleb
Those
Plant.
are.
I like Caleb Plant. So those two alone, and I think he's the most dangerous dude at 168, not named Canelo Alvarez. You know what I mean? I think he's challenging himself, going up to 175.
No, those. Listen, that's I would have him like the top 15, but as far as my criteria for pound,
Yeah.
or all time great, whatever you want to call it, legacy, I go by accomplishments, which is speaks for itself. You know what I'm saying? Accolades. I go by resume, who you beat. I go by the level of dominance.
Mhm.
How you winning these fights? How dominant are you? I'm going by consistency. The consistency in your performances. And then I gotta go with longevity. Right now, I can't give anybody longevity because they all been fighting this era right now.
So,
But I got Gervonta off of his accolades, right?
mhm.
2 division champion. And I got him based on the level of his dominance, his consistency. He's getting everybody up out of there. You know what I mean?
I got Fury in my top 10 as well. I'm not gonna lie, I got Fury in there.
For me, he's too big to put in there. Like, I don't really put heavyweights unless it's a
Put him
small
in
guy.
there. You got Usyk in
400
there.
guys, like 500 pounds, man.
But he's a 500-pound guy that moves like a welterweight, dog. Like, he can really box. I got him as my
Yo, Norbs.
Yeah.
Yo, I got to jet out right now. You know?
Yeah, do you think, brother?
It was a pleasure. We got to do it again, man.
Yeah, man. We definitely need you on, man. You are definitely.
We got to chop it up, man.
No, just hit me up, brother.
Say no more. All right.
All right. Sorry, y'all. My man had to get off. He working right now. It's all good, but that's my man, Low Nose Boxing. Make sure you guys tune into him. He knows his shit, and I just learned a lot of things about him. That's how I feel about a lot. You know, it's funny. I asked John Scully actually about the hydration clauses, and he hates them. He says that when fighters do that, it's basically them saying, "I can't beat you at full strength, so let me bring you down to where I feel like I can beat you," and that's what he actually told me. So that was really interesting when I seen that, and it makes a lot of sense when you rehydrate somebody like that, or you have the hydration clauses. That's what you do. You're pretty much you kind of handicapping that individual. And when he said that, it made a lot of sense. But on that note, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. That was my guy. We're gonna talk, and it's your boy. I'll be on tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. We are out.